I'm really struggling with a cold during this recording, so apologies for any awful sounding audio. The thing about making something sexy is that in order to find out if it's sexy or not, you need to go through some trial and error. And there's a good bit of trial and error when it comes to painting sexy space boats. Now, I have had a go at painting sexy space boats for the Drukhari before. Here's the Venom I've painted for my witches, and it's a nice pinkish magenta. But I think for the big boats, the Raider and the Ravager, I actually got some shots of the grey plastic this time. Woo. I want to go for a more metallic purple, like something straight from Halo. Those Covenant dropships just look... And I've done this in a sub-assembly of the guns, the crew, and the guys that hang off the side of the Raider. If you want to see how I paint them, just check out my Tabletop video. It's the same process. Oh look, I can link a video like a pro YouTuber. Go me, woo. Okay, so here's where I made my first initial screw up in the speed painting process. I wanted to see if I could use some spray cans to build up some gradients. Oh, and for those of you who need to see it, here's some greenery again. We're in full autumn here. I went with Colourforge black, then Runelord brass all over, and then a really light zenithal dusting of lead belcher. However, the brass was just too similar of a colour for it to actually get a decent gradient on. It's only a minor screw up. But anyway, we move on, and we just learn for next time. Now I'm going to trial something that I've not done before, and that's to use inks, and I'm running them through my airbrush. I picked these Daler Rowney inks up and tried mixing up a purpley colour, but as I tried to make the purple I was aiming for, it turned more into a lilac. If you're playing around with inks, you don't need an airbrush, but for the speed of application, this just beats a regular brush. So here's my second screw up. This is not the colour I was after. And after giving it a go, I was really switched off by it. So I ended up adding to the mix Nagaroth Night. And this is where we get that nice dark purple that I'm after. I'm avoiding all of the guns and most of the metally platform bits. Here's where I get a nice gradient along the rim of the boat. And they're really starting to look like sexy space boats. After all of this had been done, I hit everything up with some gloss varnish. I then did the old AK enamel in the recesses trick. But upon reflection, this had been really difficult to see, so I don't really know how necessary it is. With that done, I now go on to my third and final screw-up of this project, the bad application of stencils. With my Drukhari Venom, I managed to get some really successful stencils down, and I used these ones from Fallout Hobbies. They're nice, but as I pulled them off, they turned out to be quite fiddly. And to reiterate the very first thing I said in my first painting video, I'm a bit of an idiot. So as I sprayed Incubi Darkness across the stencil, this came out fine. But when I went to add an even brighter colour over it to make it stand out a bit more, I had made it a bit too thin, and it began to, oh no. As I said before, we live and learn, right? Maybe don't try stenciling whilst you're recording on camera for the first time. Anyway, I wanted to get the sails done on the boats next, so I got a bit of masking tape and cut it into 3 separate strips that I could use to mask off the, what is that, fabric? Parts of the sails. I then sprayed some white ink across those. Now, I had a mild bit of pushback on my edge highlighting comment last time, which I stand by. For rank and file troops, I think edge highlights are totally laborious. But on vehicles, they are actually a real breeze. So I got to work just doing some really easy edge highlights around the vehicle. I used a mix of Nagaroth Night and Genestealer Purple. I wanted to get back to the sails, and I wasn't all that satisfied with the white ink and how it had come out. So I go over them with some Carrick Stone, as it's a nice off yellow and complements the purple nicely. The guns and any other equipment I'm doing in this corrupted Wraithbone style. So that's a Rhinox hide base, then some stippled Rakarth flesh, and a final brush of pallid witch flesh. With that done, and with the Cabalite Riders done, and boom, that's the vehicle done. For the base, I actually could do with some help here. I've not really done flyer stands before. Normally I magnetize the bases of my minis, but with these guys, I literally have no idea what to do. Do I get some brass rod and attach them to the base stand? Do I try to put teeny tiny magnets on the base of the flying stand? Don't even know. So that's where we're at now with them. I'm really happy with them. I think they look great. I think they're sexy space boats for my Cabalites to go in. And on the side, I've now also painted up my incubi and even got a pack of scourges, which have actually jumped up to be one of my favourite set of models I've ever painted. They just look awesome. Let me know which one you want to see next, and I'll get that edited up for next time. Thanks very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye!